welcome to part number 2 of the Castlevania 2 playthrough. I forgot to explain the plot of this game in the first part, so I'm gonna do that right now. At the end of Castlevania 1, we destroyed Dracula, obviously, and apparently Dracula placed a curse on Simon. So, to get rid of this curse, Simon has to collect all of Dracula's body parts, which have been scattered into 5 different mansions hidden across all the world, and he has to destroy them to get rid of his curse. And that's the plot of the game. You have to go find the mansions and find the 5 Dracula body parts, even though one of them isn't necessarily a body part, but we'll get to that much later. You might expect that there would be a boss at the end of each mansion, but there's not. There's only 3 bosses in this entire game. The first one's in the 3rd mansion, the second one's in the 5th mansion, and then the last boss is at the final castle. I'm not gonna spoil the last boss of the game. I'm sure it's a huge mystery what the final boss of this game is. I'm sure nobody knows what the final boss of a Castlevania game is. No, it's definitely not the same boss every game. Nope, I guarantee it. All of these mansions, they're pretty much the same. They're all filled with the same kinds of enemies. They're just stronger each time, and they all look the same. The graphics in this game, I don't mind them. I just find that they're not colorful enough. They all just everything seems pale, and, you know, I don't know how to describe it, but if you go back to the original Castlevania, you'll see that all of the levels had bright colors, and it was just pleasant to look at. But this one, I don't know if they were trying to go for a more realistic look, but I don't like this game graphically as much. It's certainly not bad, but it's not the best. They could have improved upon it. The music in this game is actually quite good, though. However, there's only around 6 or 7 tracks, so it's quite limited, but the music that's there, it's pretty good. Definitely not as good as Castlevania 1 or the upcoming Castlevania 3, but it's still good. And saying good for a Castlevania game, that means the music, it's just awesome. What can you say? It's Castlevania. In all Castlevania games, the music is awesome. Well, most games anyway. There's a few exceptions to that, but I'm getting ahead of myself. In every mansion, you have to buy an oak stake. Now, you need this oak stake to collect the piece of Dracula at the end of every mansion. I'm not really sure why you can't just collect the body part, but you need to throw an oak stake at an orb at the end of every mansion. I'm not quite sure why. I don't know what it adds to gameplay. I'm not quite sure. And it's kind of contradictory. You know, from the first game, when an orb appeared, you just collected it, and that was it. But not in this game. You have to throw an oak stake at it. And, I really don't understand why. That's just how the game goes. Anyways, throw the oak stake at the orb, and you now possess... what? Prossess? Prossess? Why is it spelled prossess? Prossess. That's completely wrong. I mean, I would be willing to accept that, that spelling error if it was consistent, but no, later in the game, it says possess, like, spelled correctly. Why? So yeah, now you possess Dracula's rib, and each part of Dracula, it has a specific power-up. They each give you a new ability. We just collected Dracula's rib, which gives us a nice shield, which is actually the best Dracula part to equip. Whenever you're standing still or jumping, the shield will be out in front of you, not when you're moving forward or left or right. The shield can block all types of projectiles like fireballs and other such projectiles. It can't block like bones that the skeletons will throw at you, but it's definitely a useful upgrade. always equip the shield, because it's the best one. There's not really a reason to use the other ones, except for times when they're mandatory. You do have to get all the body parts. You can't just go to the final castle. You can't do that. That would be cool, but unfortunately you cannot. The dagger got a huge downgrade from the first game. In Castlevania 1, if you threw the dagger, it kept going until it reached the edge of the screen or it hit an enemy. But in this game, it disappears after like 10 feet. It's not all that useful. However, there are some more daggers, which are much better than the first dagger, but those ones cost hearts, so you're not really encouraged to use your sub-weapons in this game because you need the hearts to buy all kinds of upgrades and whip upgrades and stuff like that. So I recommend you just use the whip for pretty much everything. Have the holy water out because that's free, or the dagger, they're both good. But yeah, sub-weapons, not all of them cost 1 heart. Some of them cost multiple hearts, and yeah, they're not that good. Here's the Sacred Flame. It's a very useful sub-weapon, however, it's quite expensive, so I don't use it. I don't think I ever use it in this playthrough. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I don't use it at any point. You can always have 1 sub-weapon equipped and 1 Dracula part. So you can mix and match if you want to. I recommend that you always have Dracula's rib equipped, except when you need the other ones. And the holy water. Why not? The holy water is the only thing in the game that can detect where there are these hidden blocks, or blocks that appear to be real but are actually fake, and you fall through them. So a lot of people like to complain about this game because of the hidden blocks and that you have to constantly throw holy water to tell where they are. And yeah, I agree with that, but I know where they all are at this point, so it doesn't really bother me. Once you know pretty much everything about the game, like how to get through it and things like that, the game becomes a lot better. But your first time playing, the game is probably going to be not fun, a miserable experience, unless you have some sort of internet guide in front of you or Nintendo Power. That works too. Otherwise, you're gonna be confused, you're not gonna know where to go, you're not gonna know where to find all the items you need, and yeah. But once you know everything, the game becomes a lot better. I like it. I'm not gonna say it's great, but I like it. But I'd much rather play Castlevania 1 or 3, because they're simply better games. I don't know, it's just this linear, or non-linear style. It just doesn't work. It works in later games in the series, but those are implemented much better than this one is. Anyways, we're at our 3rd town right now, and I believe here we get to buy garlic, and we get our first dagger upgrade. Let's see. Yeah, we're buying garlic here. And garlic is a pretty useless item. You only need 2 of them to complete, or no, to get all of the items in the game. I'm not really sure of any secondary purposes, but if you drop garlic in 2 locations, you'll get an upgrade. So, I'll be doing both of those, don't worry. I'm not sure if garlic distracts enemies or something, like if you drop it in a group of enemies, does it distract them? I'm not sure, I don't think it does, but garlic is not a very, it's not a very good item. Dracula's eyeball reflects the curse. Okay? I don't think so. I don't remember what Dracula's eyeball does. But we won't be getting that until part number 3 or 4, so... No, I don't even think we're getting it... No, 3 or 4 sounds right. I think we can also buy laurels in this town. And laurels they'll grant you temporary invincibility. Buy some garlic, it has special powers. No, it doesn't! Laurels, they grant you temporary invincibility. They're actually one of the best items in the game, so whenever you have spare cash, stock up on some laurels. They're practically mandatory for some sections of the game, but you'll see when we get there. I think we're going down here to buy some laurels. Both garlic and laurels cost 50 hearts apiece, and you get 2 of them, I'm pretty sure. You only need 2 garlic to get all the items, and laurels, I recommend you have at least 4. I think 4. But it's always nice to have some more, so pick up as many as you need or want. Just make sure you have enough hearts for the next whip upgrade and things like that, because the whip upgrades are expensive. Although we only have to buy 1 more, I think. Yeah, the last whip upgrade is free, so that is pretty awesome. Clues to Dracula's riddle are in Rover Mansion. In every mansion, there are some books that are quote-unquote clues, but they don't help you. They don't help you at all. They're simply useless. Sometimes they just tell you lies, so I don't show off any of those clues. But if you wanna find them and read them, then go ahead. But they are useless. To restore your life, shout in front of the church? What? No, you have to go inside the church. Shouting in front of the church does not do anything. Anyways, go up to that guy in the top left corner of the town, talk to him with the white crystal, and he will exchange it for the blue crystal. And the blue crystal is mandatory to get to the next part of the game. The white crystal is actually optional. It allows you to see this one platform in the first mansion, but I'm pretty sure that the platform is still there if you don't have the white crystal. I'm pretty sure it's just invisible. I'm not quite sure on that. Anyways, go to the right, drop some garlic in this graveyard, and the guy will give you a silver knife, which looks golden for some reason. It looks like a gold knife, which is strange because we will be getting a gold knife later in the game, so I'm not quite sure. The silver knife, it costs 1 or 2 hearts to use. It's pretty powerful, but you don't really need it because the whip is strong enough. So yeah, don't worry about it. Whenever you die, you go back to exactly where you were, even if you get a game over. And there's really no penalty for dying until you get a game over. Once you get a game over, you lose all of your hearts. So if you don't have any hearts, then it's not really an issue. But if you had, like, I don't know, 230 hearts, and you get a game over, they're all gone, and that is quite a pain. Luckily, that's never happened to me. I don't think I've ever gotten a game over. Maybe? I don't know. I've played this game quite a few times, so I can't remember. As far as I can remember, I've never gotten a game over. But even if you do get a game over, you just have to recollect all the hearts. So you gotta, you know, grind for some hearts for 15 minutes. Not even. It's not that big of a deal. Oh wait, I just remembered, the white crystal is not optional, because you needed to get the blue crystal. Anyways, select the blue crystal, kneel in front of this lake, and then it will go down and you can pass through the water. Yeah, no one would ever figure that out. But I'll talk more about that in part number 3.